The man reached into his backpack and pulled out a right leg wrapped in black stockings. He then tossed it straight to the little girl nearby. The boy next to her was still wondering how she was supposed to attach a leg like that back onto her body. But in the next moment he was terrified by what he saw. To his shock, Ashinoshi Nobu simply swallowed the entire right leg whole, and in only a short moment, she transformed from a little girl into a graceful young woman. The sheer absurdity of it left Araragi completely stunned. He kept circling her and staring, examining her from every angle, until Ashinoshi Nobu started to feel embarrassed. The reason Ashinoshi Nobu was able to recover her right leg at all was thanks to Araragi's fight with a vampire hunter not long ago. Facing a battle where the difference in strength was obvious, Araragi didn't back down out of fear. But the instant the opponent landed a single blow and kicked his arm clean off, Araragi finally understood that going up against someone that strong was basically suicide, so he could only run desperately. Yet as he ran, he noticed new flesh starting to sprout from where his right arm had been, and the moment the vampire hunter caught up to him, Araragi grabbed that budding growth and yanked, and actually pulled a brand new arm out of it. But against a tall, heavily built hunter, that level of regeneration still wasn't enough. Araragi could only keep running. When the hunter reached the rooftop, Araragi used a technique he'd learned from a secret manual, caught the hunter off guard, and managed to knock him down. Even so, it wasn't enough to truly stop him. This time, the hunter outright severed both of Araragi's arms. Then, raising his hands, now transformed into massive blades, he launched a lethal strike, but Araragi narrowly avoided it again. And while he kept retreating and dodging, his arms grew back once more. Before he could even process what was happening, he fell off the building during his escape. Thanks to his extraordinary healing ability, he survived, but the hunter kept chasing him anyway. Just as the hunter was about to catch up, Araragi used another move from that manual. Putting all his strength into it, he threw a baseball, but it did absolutely nothing to the hunter. The hunter didn't even care. Then, in the next instant, Araragi swapped the baseball for an iron ball. The iron ball smashed directly into the hunter's face and dealt serious damage. Just as Araragi was about to finish him off, the hunter suddenly chose to surrender. That was how Araragi got Ashinoshi Nobu's right leg back, and the next opponent he had to face was this hunter wielding a massive cross. Even though he was a vampire hunter, he himself was also a vampire, but because he was mixed blood, he wasn't accepted by vampires, and he couldn't truly fit into human society either. So he deeply resented his own vampire lineage, and that hatred turned into intense disgust toward other vampires as well. When the two finally met, there was no extra talk. They went straight into battle. After defeating the first hunter, Araragi's confidence shot up, but that confidence was shattered almost immediately. The man hurled the cross in his hands with all his strength, cutting Araragi down to the ground in a single strike. Then he flashed to where the cross had landed, and repeated the same trick. Like throwing darts, he kept slamming the cross at Araragi over and over. Araragi's situation grew more dangerous by the second. Off to the side, Tsubasa warned him that the man's true form was missed. Before she could say more, another cross came flying, and it struck Tsubasa directly. Watching Tsubasa collapse, Araragi finally snapped. Like a man possessed, he sprinted to a nearby stadium, and leapt down without hesitation. He understood what his classmate meant. Mist is essentially water vapor, and when sand and water mix, the sand absorbs the moisture. Under those conditions, the man unexpectedly lost his ability to instantly relocate. Seizing that opening, Araragi lunged in, and clapped his hands around the man's throat. Just as he was about to choke him to death, Bobby appeared as well. With the outcome already decided, Bobby asked Araragi whether he wanted to bring back the classmate who had died. Araragi dropped to his knees and begged for help. So, following Bobby's instructions, Araragi continuously poured his own blood